Alright, let's dive into this story, but I'm warning you, it's heavy. It's one of those tales that makes you pause and think about the complexities of family, grief, and the ways we choose to honor the people we've lost. So here's the deal, Jake Reiner, the eldest son of director Rob Reiner, recently paid tribute to his late parents in a way that's both heartbreaking and deeply personal. But what makes this really interesting is how he chose to honor them, and the context behind it all. First off, let's set the stage. Rob Reiner and his wife, Michele, were tragically murdered in their home in December 2025. Their son, Nick, was arrested and charged with the crime. Now, I don't want to get too bogged down in the legal details here, but it's impossible to ignore the weight of that. A family torn apart by violence, and now one son is publicly honoring his parents while another awaits trial. It's a situation that raises so many questions about guilt, innocence, and the bonds that survive even the most unimaginable circumstances. Personally, I think what Jake did was incredibly powerful. He and his sister, Romy, threw out the first pitch at an LA Dodgers game as a tribute to their parents. Now, this might seem like a small gesture, but if you take a step back and think about it, it's loaded with meaning. Baseball wasn't just a hobby for the Reiner family. It was a connection, a shared passion. Jake wrote about how he and his dad would talk baseball for hours, and how Dodger Stadium felt like a second home. So when he says, "I'll never go to Dodger Stadium again without feeling my dad's presence," it's not just a sentimental line, it's a window into how deeply this loss has affected him. What many people don't realize is how grief manifests in these small, symbolic acts. Throwing out a first pitch might seem trivial to some, but for Jake, it's a way to reclaim a piece of his past, to keep his parents' memory alive in a space that was so meaningful to them. It's also a public statement, a way of saying, "This is how I choose to remember them, despite the darkness surrounding their deaths." And that, to me, is both heartbreaking and inspiring. But here's where it gets even more complicated. While Jake is honoring his parents, his brother Nick is demanding a $1.5 million inheritance while awaiting trial. Now, I'm not here to judge, the legal system will handle that, but it's impossible not to see the contrast. One brother is publicly grieving and celebrating his parents' legacy, while the other is embroiled in a legal battle that feels almost transactional. It raises a deeper question: how do families navigate loss when the circumstances are so fraught? How do you grieve when the story of your parents' death is splashed across headlines, and the person accused is someone you grew up with? From my perspective, Jake's tribute is a masterclass in how to honor someone's memory with dignity. He's not just mourning, he's actively choosing to focus on the love and connection he shared with his parents. And that's something we can all learn from. Grief is messy, and there's no right way to handle it, but finding ways to celebrate the good times. That's a powerful act of resilience. One thing that immediately stands out is how Jake's tribute also highlights the role of shared passions in family dynamics. Baseball wasn't just a game for him and his dad, it was a language, a way to connect. I think we all have something like that in our lives, whether it's a sport, a hobby, or a tradition. And when someone's gone, those things become anchors. They're reminders that even in the darkest moments, there's still beauty in the memories we hold on to. What this really suggests is that grief isn't just about loss, it's about finding ways to keep love alive. Jake's tribute isn't just for his parents, it's for himself, for his sister, and for anyone who's ever lost someone too soon. It's a reminder that even in the face of tragedy, we have the power to choose how we remember the people we've lost. And personally, I find that incredibly moving. So as we wrap this up, I'm left with one big question. How would you choose to honor someone you've lost? Would it be something public like Jake's tribute or something more private? There's no right answer, of course, but it's a thought worth sitting with. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about how we grieve, it's about how we keep the people we love alive in our hearts. And that, my friends, is something worth talking about.